citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis, this is a post-cabinet briefing for cabinet meeting held Wednesday, April 28, 2010. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Denzil Douglas, presented a comprehensive submission to update the cabinet on the important fiscal and debt management measures and programs recently announced for the financial year 2010. Specifically, Cabinet was updated on the government's debt management strategy, and it was indicated that although significant strides have been made in reducing the debt in absolute terms and in relation to the GDP or the gross domestic product, the full implementation and activation of the debt management strategy requires dedicated staff, and the two officers at the Ministry of Finance have been identified for that specific purpose. In addition, financial assistance is being sought from the European Union for the hiring of a highly experienced consultant to work with the Ministry of Finance in the implementation of the debt management unit. Prime Minister Douglas also updated Cabinet on the new policy that requires civil servants attaining the age of 55, that is the legal retirement age, to activate their retirement. Recall that this measure was to be implemented to decrease the size of the public sector through natural attrition over time and to improve the efficiency of the sector. As such, the Ministry of Finance and the Human Resource Management Department of the Prime Minister's Ministry have been mandated to conduct an audit of the public sector human resources with a view to creating a master plan for the reorganization of resources to accommodate the new policy. Specifically, the exercise will involve identifying persons already in the civil service who can fill positions that will be vacated by persons who will retire upon the attainment of the age of retirement. Hiring of new staff will be kept to a minimum. In addition, clear justification must be given for filling positions that are vacant at this time and for recommendation of salary increments. The Prime Minister was, however, clear in his view that critical positions must be filled so that the capacity of the government to perform its functions is not undermined or hampered in any way. He informed that the extension of the existing levy on vehicles to new vehicles has already been implemented. New vehicles imported into the country will now attract an environmental levy of 1,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars. The policy with respect to used or reconditioned vehicles remains unchanged. The Prime Minister also presented a report from the Government Entities Oversight Board, or the GEOB, which was established by Cabinet to help Cabinet Ministers oversee public corporations that fall under their ministries. The GEOB, or the Government Entities Oversight Board, became operational in 2008 and is supported by a Government Entities Monitoring Unit, which has been set up in the Fiscal Division of the Ministry of Finance. It is the view of the government that the oversight of public corporations is a critical component of our fiscal stabilization strategy, since public corporations are a source of exposure and risk. The GEOB's report assessed the exposure of 10 public corporations and assigned low, medium, or high to the degree of risk for each of them based on their financial standings. The mandate of the GEOB includes, but is not limited to, monitoring compliance of the public corporations with their relevant legislative underpinnings, notifying relevant ministers of any issue that the GOB deems necessary, making recommendations for the improvement in the operations of the public corporations, submitting regular reports to the Cabinet of Ministers for general updating, and finally recommending borrowing regimes for public corporations. The Minister of Finance concluded his submission by giving an undertaking to provide comprehensive proposals at a subsequent meeting of the Cabinet to address other measures that are being implemented, including, but not limited to, our expenditure control program and the review of our policy on discretionary concessions. As one of the measures to reduce the cost of living, government controls the import and pricing of certain basic commodities, one of which is milk. At today's Cabinet meeting, it was approved that a new brand of milk, Bunley, be imported as the price-controlled brand of milk. The most recently available cost and pricing information reveals that the price for a small tin or the 170-gram tin of Bunda milk will cost about 99 cents, whereas the large tin or the 410-gram tin will cost about $2.07. The Ministry of Consumer Affairs recognizes that as a consequence of carnation being supplied locally for the last 40 years, there is an entrenched loyalty to the brand, and the Ministry wishes to inform that the new brand of milk is highly comparable and has been introduced to reduce cost. Other brands of milk, including Carnation, will be available in supermarkets, but it is only the Bunley brand that will be price regulated. Government continues to look closely at the cost of living and has decided to maintain its policy of removal of taxes from about 40 essential items, including some food items, a list of medication for chronic diseases, and some hygienic supplies. This policy attempts to achieve an affordable price for consumers and to improve our standard of living. Cabinet received a brief update on the progress of the Christopher Harbour project, and the progress there was assessed as satisfactory. Discussions were also had on plans to repair the road on the southeast peninsula. In addition, Cabinet approved a multi-million-dollar development project to be implemented at the southeast peninsula. The approved resort is to be located near White House Bay and will include a boutique villa hotel with 25 independent villas totaling about 60 bedrooms. The central facility of this new multi-million-dollar development project for the resort project will be designed to have a beach club, a restaurant, swimming pool, and docking facilities. The project will be designed to the development specifications for the southeast peninsula, which include low density and ecologically sensitive development, and green zones will be designated where the natural flora of the area will be preserved and enhanced. In fact, the environmental impact assessment for the project concept has already received approval from the Development Control and Planning Board. Government takes great pride in being able to facilitate further development on the southeast peninsula to move our tourism sector into high-end tourism and to help provide a firm foundation for a services-based economy. The development will help boost construction and provide numerous employment and business opportunities for our nationals during the construction and operational phases. Activities of this kind are essential to the boosting of the economy and building a secure future for our citizenry. This brings to an end the post-cabinet briefing for Wednesday, April 28, 2010. Thank you.